up here now.
Opa, yamas.
Because we're tropical.
Like the desert. Like the desert.
Water.
Yamas.
Yamas. Yasus Aquila. What's this?
Yalmas, thirsty travelers. Mark here with Wolters World, and today we're in Nafthio, Greece. Today we're going to talk about are some of the drinks you should have as a tourist when you come here to Greece. Because I'll be honest with you, there's some really tasty treats to have when you're here, and there's some ones that make you go, ugh. So I think I need to start off with one of the drinks you should definitely have when you're here. This is one thing that Greek Americans miss so much, and that the first thing they probably have when they come back to Greece, and it really should come with a warning, and the warning is frappe today, sleep tomorrow, because frappe is a super strong caffeinated drink. I mean, it's coffee. Basically what it is, it's instant coffee mixed with water, and it's really strong, and then they'll foam it up, and you'll put like milk and sugar in there if you want. Some people don't, but it is one of those like quintessential, really Greek drinks. I mean, it's a cold coffee, and that's one thing they really love here, because if you don't want to do the frappe, because you might want to sleep tonight, you can do a freddo espresso or a freddo cappuccino, which is a cold espresso or a cold cappuccino. You can do that. But if you really want to go for the true Greek coffee, I'm going to tell you right now, Greek coffee packs a punch, and I gotta warn you with this one as well. Be careful of the grounds at the bottom, because it's very strong, and they have the grounds there, and sometimes when you're drinking it, if you keep going, like you try to drink it like a Starbucks, you hit that bottom, like I've seen people literally throw up because they got the grounds in their throat. So be aware of that. But honestly though, coffee here is a super thing, and honestly, if you're looking at a Greek breakfast, most of their breakfasts consist of coffee, and maybe another coffee. Now, another drink you're going to see a lot, and it'll probably pop up after your meal, and sometimes before, but most of the time after a meal, is called ouzo. And ouzo, what it is, it's distilled liquor, but the thing is it has anise in it. So basically it has the flavor of black licorice, and it's not the flavor for everyone, but here they serve it ice cold, and if you don't want it so thick, you can mix it with water. So what happens is after a meal, sometimes they'll bring a glass around for each one of the adults that are drinking there, and you have that, but sometimes people just drink ouzo by itself. I know my dad, when we were here, he loved ouzo. He would just keep ordering, and I'm like, stop, no more, Dad, you can't have any more ouzo, because he loved it so much. But that's kind of like the really typical liquor you're going to see. And if you go to Greek restaurants around the world, that's probably the liquor they're going to give you when you're there. Now, another liquor you might have is called raki. Raki is basically, it's the pressings of the grape, and they make a hard alcohol out of it. So if you've ever been to Italy and you had a grappa, or you're like in Portugal had aguardente, like that really strong, spirit, that's what they have. And in Crete, that's kind of like what they'll bring you instead of ouzo.
So often in Greece, when you get your bill, they will bring you a small drink or maybe some ice cream or something. Tonight they've brought us some raki. Raki, it's it's kind of like grappa. It's like the whiskey, but instead of making it from grains, they make it after the first pressing of grapes. So from raki comes from the
grapes.
Yeah, from the grapes. So anyway, it's distilled grapes, basically, not fermented like with wine. But anyway, this is what it is. It's strong. In the north of Greece, they typically put anise in it, so it has a licorice flavor. In Crete, it doesn't. It's very smooth and warm.
Okay.
Yamas.
And the thing is, there's a lot of regional liquors when you're here, and the thing is, like, I like raki, because we spend a lot of time in Crete, so that's my kind of go-to thing. But if you want to have the great pressing kind of grappa kind of thing, with the ouzo, anise flavor, the black licorice flavor, you have sipro. That could be another one you have. There's one that's a very herbal one. Like you have this, for me it feels like it helps with digestion. I mean, when you have these big meals here, sometimes you need a little bit of something to kind of help things move along to your tum-tum. Mastic is one of those things that really does kind of help with the digestion, but it does have more of the herbal feel to it if you're looking for that. But the thing is, when you go around the country, you're going to see different liquors out there. Some are made from citrus, some are made from herbs. There's all kinds of different things out there. I mean, I know that you got Tintura, which is made with, citrus fruit. You've got, Citronin, which is made from Naxos, which is also made from citrus. I mean, there's a lot of different stuff that's out there that you can have. And that's why it's really important to ask, what's the local liquor we should have? And what's cool is when you're going around to the different cities around Greece, that like free drink at the end will usually be the local one. So don't worry, you'll get to try it even if you don't order it. You'll be okay. And even if you can't say it correctly, like I butcher these things, that's why I put the words down here so you can say it. That's going to be a little bit more helpful. And for those of you that just want to have a nice ice cold beer, because believe me, it can be very hot here in the summer in Greece. The local beers, you've got the national brands like Figs, Alpha, Mythos is all over the place. But also there's a lot of craft breweries around Greece as well that make really good beer. So you'll have that. A lot of it's more like Pilsner, lager kind of beers than the heavier beers. You can find some of the heavier ones, but it's a lot more lighter beers just because when it's, 105 degrees Fahrenheit or like 43 degrees Celsius, you don't really feel like having that heavy beer. Though you still have the heavy food, but that's why you need the shots to kind of help with the digestion to get through that heat. Now, if you're like me and you're not a big coffee drinker, and also maybe you don't want to have too much alcohol, you want to go for something a little bit more, relaxing. You've got really good tea when you're here. Probably the two most important teas to have. You've got the mountain tea, and you got chamomile tea. And the thing is, they're going to be good no matter where you go. And what's cool is, like, we've been hiking here before, and I remember Jocelyn, last time we were here, we were hiking, and she picked up all this chamomile, like, from the mountain, right? And so she's, on our hikes, has all this stuff. We get back to our place where our friends are staying, and they live there, and they're like, where'd you get that? She's like, oh, I picked it on the way. It's like, no. Goats pee on that. Sheep pee on that. You're not using that for tea. And they actually gave us chamomile from their garden to make tea with that. So tea can be a really good thing when you're here, and it can be very relaxing. And one of the things is in the morning when you're kind of getting going, that tea can really help, especially if you're not a big coffee drinker. Like I said, like that's what I go to when I'm here. Because honestly, if I had a frappe, I think my heart would explode from all the caffeine. So what about non-alcoholic drinks that are out there to help you kind of get refreshed? I mean, they have all the sodas you usually see, the Cokes, Fantas, Sprites, these kind of things. But also here they have lemonade they quite like. It's more like a soda version of lemonade that you'll see at quite a few places, and sometimes not bubbly, but like you'll have that. Orange juice. I mean, we're here in Nafplio. Their oranges are famous, like the orange cake here. It's orange pie, but it really looks like orange cake and tastes like orange cake, but they call it orange pie. But the oranges here, man, you're gonna have fresh squeezed orange juice at your hotel or your bed and breakfast or wherever you're staying, because it's so good when you're here. So that's one thing you will look for. There's also what I like to call the Greek cherry KoolAid, and what it is, it's basically sour cherry and sugar mixed together with water, and it's like visanata, which I know I'm butchering, but I've had it at a few kiosks when I was in Athens. I'm like, dude, this stuff is good. Like, that's a nice little cool, refreshing drink you can have as well. But honestly, the most refreshing drink you're gonna have in here is the water. And one thing I'll say is there's some places you can drink the water from the tap. There's some places you probably shouldn't drink the water from the tap. But I'll be honest with you, you wanna buy bottled water because it tastes a lot better. And when you go to restaurants, they'll probably bring a bottle of water and put it on your table when you start off. That is not free, by the way, just giving the heads up for that. But I would drink as much water as you can, bottled water as you can, just to keep yourself safe when you're dealing with all the heat that's here, if you're here in the summertime or anytime, because honestly, water is always good for you too, right? But the thing is when you come here to Greece, I mean, they have so many tourists that come here, and there's so many people that come here to have a good time. If you go to bars, cocktails will be very good. And what's nice here is they'll come up with their own kind of cocktails in different towns you go to and different regions you go to. So make sure you look at that cocktail list before you start ordering, okay? And what's funny is we've talked about all this Greek drinking, and I haven't mentioned Greek wine. Yes, Greek wine, you'll love it when you are here. It's local. It a lot of times will be your the house wine, which will be cheap, it'll be tasty, and it'll do the trick, and whether it's red or white, you'll be okay. So you can do that. Actually, here by Nafplio, some of the best grapes are right around here, so you get really great wine right by Nafplio. But also, you'll see a wine called Cena. And what Cena is, it's wine with resin in it, and it definitely has a distinct flavor. And a lot of people, they think of Greek wine, they think it's all like that. No, if you get normal wine, it tastes like normal wine. If you get Cena, it definitely has a little bit more earthy tone to it, more barky tone to it, I guess I'd say. It's an acquired taste, I would tell you that way, because you can get some that are actually pretty decent and some that are pretty not decent. But yeah, Cena is definitely a thing you should try too. So when you have Cena, I'm not going to lie to you. It is not very tasty. It is not very delicious, but it is something you do have here. It's wine that's infused with resin. Okay, that's why it has that distinct flavor. And they give you it in small glasses, and it has to be ice cold. Because if it wasn't ice cold, there's no way you could do this. It is not an enjoyable experience, but it is something you should have when you're here in Greece. Cheers. Wish me luck. Yeah. Now, but at Cena, it's kind of just a special wine. If you want something else special that's from the wine family, you've got Matxa. And Matxa, you might have seen it at your local liquor store around the world. But basically what Matxa is, it's just brandy. It's just a fortified wine, a stronger wine that you might have when you are here. And that's something you can get at the store. You can order at the restaurants. You can get it back home where pretty much wherever you live that sells alcohol. So that's something as well. And that's just it. When you're here, like the liquors you can find outside of Greece. You can find the Matxa, the brandy. You can find the ouzo, which is the black licorice flavored, distilled liquor. But the thing is, when you go around the country, you have so many more options to try that I really would like you to kind of branch out from your Greek restaurant back home, ouzo and Retsina. Go and try other things when you are here, because there really are a lot of really good drinks to try. So what are some other drinks that tourists should have when they come here to Greece? I know there's a lot more, and please let us know in the comment section below so other travelers can have other great drinks when they come here to Greece. Bye from here in Nafplio.